Hello, everyone. Welcome to BRI Youth Group's fifth College and Career Path Experience talk. Today, our speaker is Jade Zhang from Northwestern University. And to start, we can go over our agenda for today. So first, we're going to kind of just introduce our group, talk about BRI for a few minutes, and then Jade will start talking about her college and career experiences, and we'll wrap it up with a Q&A via Slido where you guys can ask any questions that you have about her experience. So yeah, we'll start with our BRI Youth Group introductions from our BRI presidents, Raymond and Heidi.
BRI Youth Group is a nonprofit founded in March 2020 under Bridge Road International Foundation. The youth group gives students a chance to use their talents, abilities, and leadership to serve the local community. Because of the pandemic, hospitals have been in need of protective equipment such as face masks for the past few months. To help provide support, a group of over 10 student volunteers worked together to hand make 400 face masks and 400 nurse caps out of cloth, as well as thousands of face shields. We sent the equipment to over 20 hospitals, including Washington Hospital and Santa Clara Valley Medical Center. In addition, we provided hundreds of lunches for hospital workers through the Food of Love Day.
The BRI Youth Group has been working diligently to help the community by not only making face masks for doctors on the front line, but also by creating programs to help students whose education has been affected by a lack of resources. We offer more than 30 classes for K-8 students in the subjects of English, math, computer science, music, art, and there are by 50 high school volunteers who are very willing to help the students. We have over 200 students from different states and even outside the US, and we assist any students that have special needs to make sure that it does not hinder their learning. If you would like to find out more information regarding our classes or volunteer opportunities, please go to our website, briyouth.org. Now here are some recent and upcoming events that BRI Youth is participating in. So a week ago, BRI Youth contributed to the COVID-19 relief efforts by volunteering at the TCV Food Bank distribution. And we have also hosted activities and webinars by BRI Youth teachers on topics such as calligraphy, Star Wars, arts and crafts, and storytelling. We also have some upcoming events, including a food drive-through at St. Anne Church in Union City. It's on September 7th, which is tomorrow, as well as a free Labor Day concert to support firefighters. So BRI will donate $5 for every person attending. And then this event will also be tomorrow, September 7th. And we'll be giving more information about this and how you can attend later on.
Before we begin, if anyone would like to join the Slido, you can go on to slido.com and the event code is 40453. Through Slido, you can ask questions, which we will get to at the end of the presentation.
So now we'll begin Jade's presentation. So whenever you're ready, you can start.
Hello, I'm Jade Zhang, and we can go to the next slide. But yeah, there's a picture of me in case you can't look at my video for some reason. I'm from Fremont, California, which is where I am right now. But for 6 months of my life, I lived in Evanston, Illinois at Northwestern University, where I am part of the class of 2023. That means I just finished my freshman year. So because of COVID, I kind of only spent half a year there. But yeah, at Northwestern University, I'm studying for a 5-year dual degree, where I will earn a Bachelor of Music in Violin Performance in their Beaton School of Music, which shirt I'm wearing right now, and a Bachelor of Arts in Math or Physics. It's still technically undeclared, but I'm thinking of a major in math and a minor in physics. And as part of Northwestern University's math department, I'm part of the MENU program, which is Mathematical Experiences for Northwestern undergraduates, I think. But yeah, it's just a program of advanced math classes that you can gain access through your AP Calc scores. So that's mainly on the side of academics. And then we can go to extracurriculars on the next slide. So at Northwestern, I'm mainly part of Reformed University Fellowship, which is a Christian fellowship there. I'm also a part of Grace Presbyterian Church, where I served as a youth leader in teaching and leading the middle schoolers while I was in Evanston. And also here we have pictured Boom Shaka at our Refusion Shaka show, which was last November. And Boom Shaka is a premier dance and drum ensemble. It's really cool. You can see people in the background drumming on trash cans while we're dancing along to them. So we went to a bunch of gigs and stuff, and we also take part in like these huge school-wide dance shows. And I'm also part of Harmony and Spirit Acapella, which is an acapella, and we sing. And then I guess the other sort of not really extracurricular, but lots of practicing, because as a music major, I'm expected to practice like 2 to 3 hours every single day. So a lot of my life is spent in the practice room. And yeah, that's basically it about me. You can ask more questions about any of these. I would love to talk about them later. So next I have a couple of pictures of Northwestern University just to kind of give you a feel for it. So this is our pride and joy being in School of Music. And here is sunrise on the Lakeville. I took this picture on my phone after my roommate and I went out to watch the sunrise. Because Northwestern University is situated right on the coast of Lake Michigan, it's literally on the beach. If you see that lake over there behind that little strip of land, you have the entire Lake Michigan. And the sunrise on there is just phenomenal. So this picture was taken on October 19th last year. And the next slide, which is snow on the Lakeville, which is literally 12 days later. This was first snow in October, which was something I had never experienced before. And it's just beautiful. I remember this picture, I had just finished orchestra rehearsal. I was walking out and everyone else was just pretending that everything was fine. But me being from California, I was like, what is this white stuff falling from the sky? So they were making a bit of fun of me, but it was just, the entire campus just completely changes. So yeah, if you would like to see more pictures of Northwestern too, there's an Instagram account called Best of Northwestern. And it's just a bunch of pictures submitted by Northwestern students because the campus really is just beautiful. So yeah, that's basically a short introduction about me. Feel free to ask any questions about anything you've seen on here or just any of your own questions too.
Okay, so thank you for the introduction. And so now I guess we'll move on to the Q&A part. So you guys can either submit your questions through the Slido, which you can go to slido.com and the code is in the chat. Or you can maybe just unmute yourselves and ask the questions if you want to do that as well. Both options are free.
I wanted to ask about the campus culture because I feel like that's something personally like pretty important to me. Like, how would you describe like the students on campus and like the overall like environment?
The overall environment at Northwestern, it's pretty intense because you have a lot of people studying, but it's also like we like to have fun. I think one thing that really demonstrates this is we have a tradition called the Primal Scream, which is exactly what it sounds, on the Sunday right before finals. So at 9 p.m. CT, every like at the end of every quarter, suddenly you will hear every single student at Northwestern scream as loud as they can because finals are coming. So yeah, it's like we study. It's Northwestern is ranked number 9, I think, on the college rankings by US News. But yeah, there's a lot of fun things to do. We do like to have fun. And sometimes parties aren't really my thing, but if they are yours, they're usually like parties on North Campus too. I can't really say anything about those because I've honestly never been. But even especially if you're not into like getting drunk, which technically is illegal anyways, there are a lot of other ways to have fun. Chicago's like literally 20 miles away. You can see it on the skyline when you walk over to the music building. And there's a bunch of stuff there too. There's the Chicago Symphony Orchestra, Lyric Opera. There's the there's even like the arts museum that my mom talks a lot about. And yeah, also just on campus, we're right next to the city of Evanston, which is like a small college town, but it also has a lot of things. So you kind of get both that experience of like a small, safe college town while also being right next to Chicago and like all the fun that that has to offer.
Thank you so much.
So I'm going to share the Slido screen, and then here you can see all the questions.
Ooh, okay.
Yeah.
Do I just start at the first one?
Yeah. What's your favorite boba place?
There is a boba place called Kung Fu Tea that is literally closer to my dorm than my classes are, which is probably bad for, you know, the freshman 15 of gaining 15 pounds in freshman year. But yes, that is the only boba place that I've been to, but also the best. I honestly think its boba is better than some Bay Area boba places. So yeah, there's that. Also, just there's in the case of just Chinese or Asian food, Asian desserts, there's a lot of those too, just in and around campus, because we're right in the middle of like the city of Evanston.
Okay, thank you. And the next question is, would people rather help or ignore at Northwestern?
I don't really know what this question means. Is it like if you've like stumbled and fallen, people would help and ignore it? If that's the question, like is whoever asked that can like elaborate in the chat too. But yeah, I think people there are just so helpful and so caring too that I actually, true story, when it first snowed, being the California girl that I am, I slipped on some ice like immediately. And then people around me, like these complete strangers, definitely did not ignore. They were like, "Oh no, are you okay?" And then I had cut my hand and they actually helped me to get like first aid and stuff. So it wasn't that bad, but the people here are definitely just really helpful and really caring.
Our next question is, what led you to major in math and physics?
Okay, math and physics, I just liked those classes in high school. Honestly, I had a pretty intense physics teacher and a really intense math teacher, but it was just something about those subjects. It was just like I wanted to keep learning about them. That's sort of where I decided my major too. And honestly, my academic advisor at Northwestern has kind of supported this too, that you don't need to think there's like some perfect major or some perfect career that you just have to have everything planned out. Her advice has always just been like, what do you like doing right now? And even as you go and explore, you can just explore more things and see what really makes you passionate and what you really like. So yeah, the math and physics mainly because of high school classes, and I've already taken a couple math courses freshman year, and that's kind of pushing me more towards math too. So I will be taking more math and physics classes this fall to kind of figure out that decision. But yeah, that's mainly why I'm majoring in that.
Okay, thank you. Our next question is, what do you think of a dual degree versus doing a double major or minor?
Ooh, okay. I like this question. One of the things about Northwestern is that they're one of the few schools that do offer this dual degree, which literally means okay, not literally, but like, which means that I can split myself in half and go to a music conservatory and also go to like one of the top liberal arts colleges in the nation. So this was one of the main things on my mind because I'm going into music. So then during college app season, I was like, do I want to apply to conservatory, like Eastman, Juilliard, NEC, like all of those super well-known conservatories, or do I want to keep like, because I really like math and I really like physics, or do I want to go that route into a liberal arts college? And Northwestern was like, you can do both. So that's the main thing of the dual degree. And that's in that case, I'm taking the same classes, getting the same education as like some of the only music students who are at the Bean School of Music. That I do get that conservatory education along with taking the same classes, fulfilling the same requirements as someone who is only going to Northwestern as like an econ major or a math major or something like that. So that was something that really appealed to me to be a dual degree. But it does take a lot more time, and there are a lot more classes because you're fulfilling requirements for 2 degrees, which is why for us the dual degree program is 5 years. Now, I think if you don't really want to go that in depth into something like that, into both conservatory and liberal arts college, a double major or minor might be something that you want to consider. Like, I know many schools offer double majors. In around this time a year and a half ago, as I was considering like my college choices, the other choice that I was thinking about was UCLA, where they did not have a dual degree, but they did have the double major. So if you're thinking of double majoring, one main issue I had with UCLA was that I heard from students it wasn't that easy to double major there. While at Northwestern, so many people double major, so many people are doing like so many different things that the advisors really are used to it and like can help you double count, see like which classes you can take to double count and just figure that out. So depending on how much you want to do these 2 different fields or 3 different fields even, then you can make your decision on dual degree versus double major or minor.
Okay. Branching off of that, what does it mean to double major, and how is this different from taking a major and a minor?
Okay, a double major. So in college, you can choose a concentration, and then it's sort of the weight of that concentration, I guess, where each major and minor, you can find this on any college website, but they have a specific set of requirements. And as it sounds, the major requirements are much more than the minor requirements. So for a double major, that means you have the major requirements, like for example, math, and then you have the major requirements for violin performance. So that means you need to fulfill all of those requirements. But instead, with like math and physics, of what I'm thinking about is physics has a major and it also has a minor, which I think has like 10 less class requirements than the actual major, from what I recall. So then in that case, I'm able to take all the math classes and then I only have to fulfill the requirements for the minor. So this depends on the subject, this depends on the college, but all of this information can be found on college websites. And also that's like, it's sort of the same thing as like double degree versus double major. It's just how much you really want to just emphasize on like on each of these different fields. And yeah, of course, along with all these things, I want to say that there really just isn't some expectation for you to figure it out like right even before you go to college. There's just so many ways you can learn in college, so many different experiences you can have to really see what you want to study. So yeah, so many people that I know go into college undeclared, like they just have no idea what they want to study, and that's completely fine. So yeah, just know that you can go into college and figure it out. And if you really like 2 different subjects, then yes, feel free to double major, but also understand your own limits and what course load, what workload you're able and willing to handle.
Thank you. Continuing on, did you early decision for Northwestern?
No, I did not. I early decisioned to Yale and then got deferred. And then I remember being deferred, I was kind of sad, but then I was also like happy because I didn't realize at the time, but I really wanted to apply to Northwestern. So that I was like, yay, I'm not forced to go to Yale anymore. So no, I did not ED for Northwestern.
Okay. And what led you to major in music?
Ooh, okay. So for music, I don't know how many of you guys are in the Bay Area and are in the Mission District or went to Hopkins Junior High School, but there is a music teacher there named Mr. Conway. He's the music director, and I was in his orchestra for 2 years for both of my years in middle school. And he's just so amazing. He's like such a dedicated music teacher. He just really inspired so many of us. And I think from that was the first time I really took music seriously as like, wait, this is so awesome. I want to keep learning this. So then I just kept going with that, and then had so many other just really encouraging mentors in music, especially like my youth symphony conductor, Dr. Jin Dong Tai, because I was in Golden State Youth Orchestra for 4 years in high school. But yeah, just all of these mentors really that showed me how powerful music is, and like how it's just more than just something like, oh, I'm good at this thing, so I'm going to show off so people can like say nice things about me. Like that there really is some deeper it's an art form, and there's like some deeper meaning you can do to it, that you can really touch people's lives with this. So that led me to major in music. Also, just the plain fact that I could not imagine never playing in an orchestra again, or never like taking private lessons again. So yeah.
Thank you. So the next question is how, oops. It was something like, okay, what led you to choose Northwestern?
Ooh, okay. Main thing was the dual degree program, because that just seemed so perfect for me as someone who really loved music, but also just really loved school. Like, I love my math class, my physics class. Also, I was in AP English Literature senior year, and that was just super fun. And just, yeah. Aside from the dual degree though, just Northwestern being a liberal arts college, that liberal arts college means that they have like a set of general education requirements where even math majors, you're expected to take two classes in each of these six distribution areas in order to graduate. So in order for me to graduate from Northwestern, even though I will most likely be a math major, I still have to take two classes in fine arts and literature, two classes in formal studies or math, two classes in, I think the other ones are like biological sciences, and also ethics and values and religious studies. So it's just like a whole, the whole idea is to just produce these graduates who are very well rounded. So that was another thing that appealed to me too, because I just really like learning, and I knew that if like sometimes the most valuable experiences can be in classes where I'm not like, it's not my strength. So that was what led me to a liberal arts college, and specifically to Northwestern. Also, I just wanted to see what it would be like to live in a place where it actually snowed. So there was that too. But yeah.
So just a reminder that if you can't access Slido for whatever reason, you can also just ask the questions in chat. Yeah, so the next question is, what is your biggest tip when applying to college?
I think there are already, you guys have probably already heard many tips of like the same thing as like be yourself, and also just like see like all those things that what things can you show, how do you use your words to paint yourself in the best light of like writing these essays and stuff. I'm the one thing I guess I would want to add to that is everything will be okay. Take heart. It's going to be okay. Like this seems, I remember it seeming like such a huge monumental thing of like, oh no, if I don't get into like the college that I want, it's going to be the end of the world. And like, it's just a huge thing, because I mean, especially being in the Bay Area, all of your high school years, people are thinking college apps, what will look best on my college application, how am I ever gonna, what do I need to do, how many more volunteer hours do I need to get? So it's just really stressful. But just, I guess my tip would be, along with all those other tips on how to really present yourselves best and like find people to read your college essays and stuff, along with all of those, I would say just to take a step back and remember college isn't the end of your life. It's not like the main goal. Like even after college, I know some people who are really surprised, are like, wait, okay, I finally made it. I still have to study, I still have to take tests. Like what? College is for education, which means it's the beginning of this whole journey with like your career path and everything. So applying to college, it's okay. Like you don't have to get into the best college to be successful in life. Even, especially, I think this was mentioned in the last talk that I sort of skimmed over and looked at, but that you don't need even to go to the best college on college rankings, because just find a place that's really fit for you. I know it's very easy to cave into the pressure of like, oh, here's a big name, there's a big name, I want to go there. But just take heart. Everything is going to be okay. Like even you have all these generations of people, just literally everyone older than you, who have already gone through this process and they've survived. So you're going to survive too. It's okay. Take a step back, and especially during this time, and just really put things into perspective. Yeah, it can be easy to make this college application process everything, but I think once you take a step back and put things into perspective, even just with this, it will put you in a better state of mind to actually apply to college with a calmer mind to be able to write these essays better, because like all the research, right, you when you're anxious and stressed about things, your quality of work actually decreases. So if you're able to take a step back and just see that like this is not the most important thing in the world, then you'll actually be set free to like work even harder and to just really give your best shot. So yeah, colleges don't determine your identity. Your college is not the biggest thing in your life. So it's everything is going to be okay.
Okay, thank you. So in our chat box, we have, how did you balance music and academics in high school? And did it change when you got to college?
Yeah, music and academics, it was just, I did a lot of things. I'm the type of person, I don't know if you could tell, I'm the type of person who really just likes learning and like doing a bunch of things. But yeah, time management, good time management, that's like the only thing that I can say. I think it did start in high school though, where I was also like I was also dancing ballet for 13 years of my life, and then just trying to balance all of those things. It took some trial and error, but then it was also just very helpful to kind of figure that out in high school before I was like put in college on my own to do that. So yes, time management. If we want to talk about this a bit later too, I have like a couple specific tricks and tips, but then just one of them being like make a schedule. Google Calendar is just so good. Find us something like that. I'm shocked when I hear people who like don't use Google Calendar, because like how do you even function like without that? But yeah, so good time management, make sure that you're balancing, you're writing a schedule, following it, and also leaving space to just take a break and stuff, because of that whole like taking a break and increases like your work quality and everything. So yeah, it didn't really change when I went to college, I guess because I had already figured out all these systems. I knew how I worked, I knew how much break time I had, where my limits were. So yeah, I think high school is a really good time to sort of use trial and error and be kind to yourself and just figure out how you can like work and how you can get so many things done effectively.
Okay, thank you. So the next question, my brother is a junior now, but he only likes playing games. Could you please give him some suggestions?
This is really funny because my brother is also a junior now and he only likes playing games. What I would say to him, I don't know if he can hear me right now. He's right next door. But what I would say to him, I think playing games, I mean, one thing I would say that he probably would not listen is like listen to your parents, because that's probably not going to work. Like he's yeah. But even then, just to recognize if you are the brother who only likes playing games, who's listening right now, just it can seem like parents just are trying to push you into something that like they just don't understand. Like it's so much more fun to play games and do all these things, but to really know that they care for you and they're doing all of these things because they care for you and because they want the best for you. And if you could just imagine like 30 years from now, however much you've learned in your, I don't know, 16, 17 years of life, imagine having like 30 more years of experience. That's they've been in a place like you where you are before. And can you just imagine how like wise and knowledgeable you would be after like all of those years of living life? So I can say this pretty confidently that your parents really love you and they care for you even if they don't show it. So then it's just that all of these things that they're trying to get you to do, it's really for your good. And I think if you understand that, you can just sort of mend that relationship too. And also just know like life is scary, but you have these parents, you have just all these people in your life who are trying to help you. So then accept their help. And also, I guess another suggestion would be why do you like playing games? It can sometimes be helpful to think and be like, why do I like doing this? Is this something I could study in college? Because I mean, that's the whole point of like majors, right? In colleges, not just to prepare for a career, but also like literally, what do you like doing? And then is there something about games that you could transform to be a career, and how do you study for that? So if you can find some way to put what you really like and then sort of see how you can make that your life, and sort of as a path to college, that could just be the motivation to go out and study, and also help ease your parents' peace of mind, because they'll know that you'll have some financial security in the future. I don't know. But yeah, just I think it's really awesome that he likes doing something, that he's like passionate about something in his life. Like, so many people are just going through life in monotone, because it's just the same old. But if he can somehow turn that passion for something into like something he could study, something that could like actually be turned into a career, that might be really cool too. That might interest him. So I don't know, maybe have some conversations with him if he will listen. My brother probably wouldn't if I was in your place, but yeah.
Okay, thank you. And back to the chat box, one question is, what is the Asian community like at Northwestern?
Ooh, okay. Coming from the Bay Area bubble, where like 90% of my high school is Asian, it was like, wow, there's so many non-Asian people here. But also there's like a really significant number of Asians. I think it's like, I don't remember, 17% or maybe 20% of students at Northwestern are Asian. But yeah, there's a significant like group of people. We have like CASA and CSA. CSA is Chinese Student Association, and just where we had like dumpling nights, and like they have like Celebrasia, which is this yearly like Chinese New Year performance and celebration. There's also K-pop dance groups and like a bunch of things like that. There's also Asian American InterVarsity, which is like this whole group of just it's like a Christian fellowship, but it's also just like this whole group of all these Asian Americans who like love to talk about how their like faith intersects with their identity as an Asian American, and also just go to H Mart together and go make ramen and stuff together and eat hot pot. So yeah, the Asian community exists, and it's really strong and really just welcoming. Personally, I wanted to take this time in college to really learn more about things outside of my Asian bubble. So I personally tried to like actually make friends who weren't Asian for a change, and that has been really awesome too. So I don't know much about these communities specifically, because I kind of intentionally avoided them to be more in non-Asian circles, to kind of like meet new people and learn. I also learned what a biscuit is for the first time in my life. That was really cool. Anyways, I'm getting sidetracked, but yes, they're at Northwestern, and I'm pretty sure at like a lot of other colleges too. A lot of colleges will have that kind of data of what percentage of the student population is Asian. But yeah, the Asian community exists. It's welcoming. It's like there's so many opportunities there to hang out with other Asian people and just cook together and make fried rice together. I don't know. But yeah, also a side note, there's also just like there's communities there, like fixed groups, but there's also a lot of friendships. I have a friend who is an international student in Singapore, and then on the 15th day of Chinese New Year, I was feeling kind of sad because I wanted to be home celebrating, but then she was just like, hey, I have some random like black sesame powder and like a bunch of other stuff. Do you want to just make tangyuan with me? And I was like, yeah, sure. So then in the dorm, we just made some tangyuan, and it was so good. But so yeah, there's definitely a lot of people worry about finding friends at Northwestern or just in college. So, but know that there are people who are intentionally reaching out to you too. As a second year, we're just trying to figure out ways right now to reach out to freshmen and make them feel welcomed and make them feel like they belong.
Thank you. Going back to degrees, what exactly is a dual degree, and how does one apply for a dual degree?
Okay, a dual degree is basically what I talked about before, how it's like I split myself in half and am going to a music conservatory and like a liberal arts college at the same time. What that means exactly is that most people, when they graduate with one degree, like a Bachelor of Arts in whatever major or something. But a dual degree just means I'll get like two diplomas. I think it's 2 diplomas. I'm not sure, but I'll get 2 degrees. One is a Bachelor of Music for me specifically in music and math, Bachelor of Music and a Bachelor of Arts. So at Northwestern, the way Northwestern is kind of organized is there's 6 or 7 or 8 schools, like the schools within the university. The biggest one is Weinberg College of Arts and Sciences, which is the liberal arts college. And then there's also the School of Music. And then there's a really famous Medill School of Journalism. And there's also McCormick School of Engineering. So there's all these different schools at Northwestern. And then one thing, the way that you apply is you apply to each specific school. So I don't know about other colleges. I'm pretty sure it's like pretty much the same process. But in order to apply for a dual degree at Northwestern, you apply to both schools. You submit an application to both. And then in order to be accepted into the dual degree program, you have to get into both. And this is something you can do just in the Common App. There's usually like a drop down menu that it's really obvious. You can just find it and be like, okay, what school are you applying to? I'm applying to both of these for a dual degree program. Also, if you get into Northwestern, it's really easy to just add a second degree later. I heard music school is the hardest to actually get into while you're already at Northwestern, but once you're in the music school, because the academic standards for getting into the music school are so high, I think you just like fill out a form, talk to some people, and then you can get add a dual degree in any other school. I have a friend who just added a dual degree like last month, and he's also a second year. So yeah, it doesn't have to be something you directly apply to, but you can also add stuff at Northwestern. I think we can talk about that later with adding and switching majors, but yeah.
Okay, thank you. The next question is a little more way back. How's Northwestern's food?
Northwestern's food is decent. It's sometimes I wish that I went to UCLA because they're famous for their food, but Northwestern's food actually, okay, I think this is an unpopular opinion among the students, but it is pretty good. I just grew up like eating Chinese food for all the time, so I started like really missing bok choy after a while, as my mom can testify. But yeah, their food is pretty good. It's like, I also heard it like changes every year, so like we never really know how it is. Last year, the main dining hall on campus was like Allison and South Campus, and that was the best. So then I went and lived in South. But then last year, when I was actually on campus, the North Campus dining hall, Sargent, was like the way better. So then I just like walked all the way up north, like 15 minutes up north every time to get food from there. So yeah, it is. You will survive. From my unpopular opinion, you will actually enjoy it and look forward to meal times. But yeah, there's also, with the meal plan, there's also like meal exchanges that you can have that you can trade in at Mod Pizza that we had, or Starbucks, or we had like this really bad Asian thing in the student center called Asiana that you can also use dining dollars for. So not just the dining halls, but there's also a lot of other cafes. We had a Fran's Cafe, Lisa's Cafe, just to that's like almost that's included in your dining plan. So there's a lot of options. Yeah, and I would say that it's pretty good.
Okay, thank you. So the next question is, what is the process like for adding/switching majors?
Okay, at Northwestern, it's really easy. You just fill out a form, and I'm pretty sure that's it. And then in the process, you might talk to an advisor about like what exactly the requirements are, how you can fulfill them. But yeah, I heard this was one of the main things about Northwestern that I really liked too. They give you so much freedom in choosing majors, adding majors, switching majors, and even adding minors and adding dual degrees, that you literally just fill out a form and you're done. Like, yeah, so I don't know what it's like for other colleges, but I think I get the impression that it's a lot more complicated than that in some places. But at Northwestern, it's really easy.
Okay, so the next question is applied math or pure math?
I am thinking about pure math right now, just because I took like a proofreading course in over the summer. But yeah, we'll see. I don't know yet. I need to take more classes and see, and also just watch more math videos. I don't know. I binge watched 3 Blue 1 Brown, if you guys know who that is. But yeah, those are cool. So I don't know yet. Probably pure math.
Great, thank you. So the next question is, how is school culture at Northwestern?
I'm assuming this means like the study academic culture, but it's like pretty intense, but it's also cool. I don't know. I came from Mission San Jose High School, so I don't know what it's like for like other high schools, but for me that transition was very smooth. It was just like it was almost like Mission was in a sense harder, or the academic culture was more stressful than Northwestern. So if you go to Mission, you're definitely prepared. If you go to a high school in the Bay Area, I'm pretty sure you're like definitely prepared too. But school culture, people study, people are like really just they care about their academics. And also in the libraries, a lot of people study there and work together there. One main thing though, school culture is definitely very collaborative as like opposed to competitive. Like you can see in the libraries, you have all these people working together on just homework and assignments, and professors and just the whole school culture too really encourage like collaboration. And to the point that like over spring quarter, I had professors like reach out to me being like, hey, do you need a study group? Like I will be willing to match you up with other students if you're just too shy to be in a study group either. So yeah, definitely that's one thing I really like about Northwestern, that students just want to help each other. And I personally really love explaining stuff too. So I sometimes I just like reach out to people asking if I can explain the lecture to them. But yeah, school culture, I really like the school culture at Northwestern. It's very supportive, very collaborative, but also you do get a really good education.
Thank you. So from our chat, we have a question that is, how is the dorm condition, and will you have the freedom to choose your own roommate?
Yeah, okay. So if it wasn't COVID time and we were actually living in dorms, the dorm conditions are really good. They're depending on like which dorm you get, but you can also choose, because for the housing application when I did it, it was just listing all the dorms in order of your preference. So our at like the bottom end of the scale, there's these two dorms like Bob and McCulloch that are really really old and they sort of smell, but the people live there are somehow really happy. I don't know, maybe they bonded over that traumatizing experience. I don't really get it, but yeah. So those, but I heard that those are going to get renovated soon anyways, so then you like most of the dorms will be really good. I personally lived in South Mid Quads, which is one of the newer dorms that was renovated just a few years ago. It was like living in a hotel. It was like the bathrooms are just like super modern and super clean. I don't know about the guys side, but the girls bathroom was very clean. And also for roommates, you do get your freedom to choose your own roommate. Like it's just as simple as just finding someone and having like people agree to be roommates, and then just making a roommate group and putting their name on your application. And like I've never heard of someone not getting their roommate that they put there. So the hardest part of that is finding someone who will be willing to room with you. But during the whole like spring summer time, there's a lot of Facebook groups online for like incoming students. And we even had like a Northwestern girls group that was just for finding roommates. I found my roommate on that. But yeah, so a lot of other freshmen definitely want to go and like make friends, find roommates. So there's a lot of people like willing to reach out for that. So it's very easy to meet people that way. And I would even say to choose your own roommate. Some people do decide to go random, but even if you go random, you fill out a form with like, this is how I study. I can study in silence. I study in music, or this is when I go to sleep. I am a clean person, or whatever. Just like a lot of these lists of things that they will match up with someone who like can coexist with you in your living style.
Thank you. Our next question is that it seems that you are very busy. How do you organize your time?
Okay. I organize my time by making a schedule. That's the main biggest thing that I can say. In terms of how to make that schedule, it's just I'm like a very type A kind of person, but I make like a list of tasks, and then sometimes if it's really complicated with all the tasks for the day, I like write down how much time I think each task will take, and always leave like a little bit of buffer time. Then I just go through, and usually adds up to more than 24 hours. So I'm just like, okay, I can't do everything today. So I'm gonna have to choose like what are my priorities, and then I write it down as a schedule. But one of the really cool tips that I've had before, I'm holding my schedule right now. It's just a blank notebook. Yeah, fun fact, it was designed by people at Northwestern. But yeah, it's just a blank notebook. I like to use unlined ones. Here's mine for today, Sunday. It has like a heading and like my verse for today from the Bible, and then just tasks and my schedule over here. And what usually happens is even as I follow my schedule, I stray from it. So then like because things come up, right? And then it's just like being okay with that, and just even in the middle of the day having a midday check and just reorganizing your schedule. But one tip that I can give is try one day just to do it the opposite way. Like don't write down your schedule and then live by it, but like just follow, especially over the summer right now, or actually most of you guys have started school, right? Even in the beginning of school, just write down a log of what you're doing each day. So it's like reverse scheduling. And then at the end of the day, you get the chances to see, oh, how much time did I actually spend on homework? Oh, wow, I spent 3 hours on my phone in total today. Like those 3 hours could have been used for all these different things. So it's really just that tip of keeping like a time log has really helped me understand more of my work habits, and then be able to make schedules that I can actually follow later. So yeah, those are some of my tips.
Okay, thank you. So for our next question, we have, it seems that you are filled with passion and energy. How do you get it?
Oh, thanks. It's I would say for me the main thing is from my Christian faith, because I believe that like there's a God who made me, who I live for, and my worth and my identity is based on him alone. I'm like set free to be passionate about like all these different things. Also, there's a verse in Colossians 3 that's whatever you do, work at it with all your heart as for the Lord, not for human masters. So then to me, that's like I'm not studying, I'm not doing my homework because I'm trying to please my professor. Like it's not for human masters that I'm doing this, but it's literally for my God who has saved me, who has like given me just so many blessings. So then just for me, that's where a lot of that comes from, because it's just like when I just see like every single breath, every single like morning when I wake up, I didn't have to wake up this morning. I could have just died last night. Like, yeah, that's like the sober reality. I never know when this life is going to end, but I do know that even through it all, there's a security there, and I'm set free from my worth and identity being based on like the kind of stuff that I offer, or like the work that I put out, or the grades that I get. So I think just from that freedom, I get to just have I just have so much gratitude all the time because of that, because knowing that like I don't deserve any of this, but all of this is by grace. So then that just gives me just this impetus to do all of these things with energy, to be able to completely throw my life into like these things that I really care about. And then because that just sets me free to do that. So yeah, that's kind of where that comes from for me. Also, I guess one of the things in terms of being like liking learning and stuff earlier, or that I've talked about earlier, is I would say like in high school I tried to be very like try to enjoy what I'm doing. This is one of the things that my mom always like put into my head, of just like positive psychology, like all that, try to like be like just enjoy what you're doing. Like if you have to do something, might as well try to enjoy it anyways, like doing math problems. So I don't know where sometimes just I don't know where this comes from, but a lot of it I know it's because I'm set free from like worrying about, oh, what will other people think of me? Maybe they think I'm weird that like I just get so excited over stuff, or maybe they'll think I'm weird for being so into math or whatever. That that like that freedom for me comes from my faith. So yeah.
Okay, thank you. So we've got about 10 minutes left. So since there are kind of a lot of questions, I can kind of just scroll through and see if there are any questions you are more like you really want to answer.
Oh yeah, I could just answer very short for like a lot of them, because I've been talking for a really long time. But yes.
Okay. Okay, I guess we'll just start at the top.
Okay. Best part of my high school senior year, I would say I was like on an officer for my Christian club in high school, and we did this whole inter-school, like the intercity praise night thing, and that was just really cool, planning for 6 months with all these other leaders from other schools and just having this whole thing come together. I think that was one of the best parts of my high school senior year. So that was just really fun. Where is Northwestern? Evanston, Illinois. Illinois, I did not know where Illinois was, but Illinois is like 3/4 of the way east of the country. It's also in this part that's strangely called the Midwest. So it's just, yeah, these East Coast, they'd have no idea where West actually is. But so Northwestern is in Evanston, Illinois, which is just a bit north of Chicago, which is also on the shores of Lake Michigan. How hard is it to get an A in your classes? Coming from Mission, I would say it's like not that hard because a lot of teachers do still curve and do still like I know there are some teachers, especially in School of Engineering, that curve in the sense that only like a percentage of people in classes get A's, but hasn't been my experience in my classes. So just work hard, study hard, especially use high school as your sort of training pad for like if we're learning how you study and how to most effectively work, and just then try hard and you can get an A. Yeah. Are certain schools or majors easier to apply to than others? In I guess like schools as in colleges, universities, probably, yeah. But schools and majors easier to apply to. I'm not sure about this, but I don't think so. I think there was another question earlier that was just like, which major did I apply to? I applied as a physics major, just because I felt like I needed to put something there, and it was the easiest to justify like in my college applications. But yeah, I don't know how exactly the application process works, but I would say that like yeah, I applied for physics just because I had taken AP Physics 1 and AP Physics C, so it was like, okay, I can explain this away. But I would say I don't know enough to answer this question. Sorry. You can probably find like someone who's an admissions officer, or I know certain schools also have like admissions officers for specific people or specific high schools. So that would be a question to ask them too. Yeah. Okay. What are class sizes? How would you rate your professors in general? Being a music student, my average class size was like 15 people, which was like super crazy because there are other most college, like the college stereotype is like a huge lecture hall, but Northwestern has a really really small, I guess is the word, small, like faculty to student ratio, that there are just so many faculty, so many good faculty. My professors, like pretty much all of them that I've been in touch with, are just so amazing. They're like some of the best in their fields, and also they're just really easy to talk to, and they just teach well, and they're also really approachable in terms of they have office hours. Oh yes, college advice: go to office hours. Like this is literally for professors to like answer your questions, and you can talk with them more, and just any questions that you have, they're willing to answer. So class sizes small, professors awesome. Applying to a specific major, applying undecided. Again, I'm not sure about this. When I was applying to college though, I did hear some advice of applying to a specific major, but I don't know. I think it depends on the college, because some colleges you can't get into a major if you don't like apply for it first. So you might want to do your own research with that too. How competitive is it at Northwestern? Not competitive at all. I feel like a lot of my like academics is just me versus myself. How can I, or me versus the test, me versus the assignment, not me versus other students. Like I said, students really support each other to try to do that. Yeah. And the next question was the one that I answered. I applied as a physics major, but yes, violin performance, because of the whole audition process into the Bean in School of Music, that's like classic of all music schools, that I had to apply like for that, because I couldn't apply like audition on violin and then suddenly switch to cello. I can barely play cello. But yeah, so in terms of just liberal arts, physics, yeah. Have you taken part in any internship, volunteering, for an exchange programs at Northwestern? If so, how was that like? I have not taken part in any internship things. Because so many internships were like canceled this summer. Also, I've only spent like 6 months in college to be honest. But yeah, volunteering for exchange programs. I guess because I didn't have much time, just with all my extracurriculars and stuff. I didn't. I guess that being a youth leader at church would count as volunteering. I'm not sure, but it was just, yeah. Those were the things that I took part of. Foreign exchange programs. Studying abroad at Northwestern is pretty popular, I think. And then I've heard from friends and from like classmates that those are just really awesome, that you get to go to some other nation in the world and like spend a whole quarter there and even just earn credits for your classes. So I personally don't have that experience yet, but I hope to sometime. There's also an office of fellowships. There's also just a lot of different offices and resources to help you through that, like if you're interested in that. So I'm sure this is also true at any college, but you do have those resources to help you figure out these like foreign exchange programs, and I've heard them just to be really, really good. So yeah. Last question. How is your relationship with your parents? Some teachers don't even want, or some teenagers don't even want to talk to their parents. My relationship, I also know my mom is on this call and she's listening, so hi mom. But my relationship with my parents is pretty good. I'm very happy with it. Like me and my mom, at least, or my mom and I, we're really close, and then we can talk as friends, and it's just, I'm really happy for that. Also my dad and I think my dad and I were like a bit more estranged, awkward in high school years, but actually right before I left for college, I was just like really worried about missing home. And for some reason I just went and like talked to my dad about that. And I think that was one of the first times that I actually had like a serious conversation with my dad. So then it was like suddenly somehow with that conversation, that barrier just sort of broke, or like just, yeah. So it was kind of sad that was right before college started and I had to go leave and like actually miss home. But it was like really, like coming back home for quarantine. I really I have a really good relationship with my parents. Yeah, and I'm very glad that I can spend that time with them, even when I left for college, I thought that would be the last time I could ever like live for such a long time at home. So I'm really thankful for that. And I'm also kind of surprised and thankful that like my family hasn't killed each other yet, being stuck in for 6 months in quarantine. So yeah, I think it's 8 o'clock. I should probably end soon. But one thing that I do want to mention is my mom actually wrote letters to me, like handwritten letters, while I was in college, because she says she really loved receiving letters while she was in college from her parents too. So that was one thing that really helped even through that time, even though we like called at the very least once a week while in college. So that was really cool, just receiving letters and receiving packages in college. I started sending postcards to my friends even because of that, just because it was so nice to receive a package or receive mail. So yeah, that was sort of how that relationship grew, even though I was 1,851 miles away. But yes, my relationship with my parents is good, and I'm really thankful for that.
Okay, thank you. So I think that about wraps up um, our webinar for today. If you guys have any more questions that you might want to ask Jade, I think she's going to put her contact info in the chat, so you can always reach out to her if you want. So yeah.
Okay, and a quick reminder before we leave, tomorrow at, I believe, 7 to 8 p.m., we have a Labor Day concert for honoring firefighters. In this concert, we'll have performances on the piano and the violin. So if you want to drop by, just remember it's tomorrow at 7 p.m. Pacific time via Zoom, and a link will be provided.
Yeah, so that about wraps up today's talk. So thank you guys for coming, And if you guys are, we also have a BRI reading club meeting after this, so if you're here for that, you can stay.